Welcome back to our channel, where the drama in Genoa City never sleeps. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the tangled webs of deceit, heartbreak, and corporate espionage that define the lives of our favorite characters. Grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let us unpack the explosive secrets currently threatening to tear legendary families apart. The atmosphere in Genoa City has grown increasingly suffocating, overshadowed by a series of devastating revelations that have left the most prominent families reeling in shock. At the epicenter of this emotional earthquake is Lily Winters, a woman who has spent her entire life navigating the treacherous waters of corporate warfare and deeply complicated romantic entanglements. Her world was recently shattered beyond recognition upon discovering the grotesque reality that her former lover, Billy Abbott, and her longtime defining romance, Kane Ashby, are actually biological brothers. This horrifying twist of fate, orchestrated by the dying directives of Jill Abbott, has forced Lily into a state of profound psychological retreat. The very foundation of her reality has been upended, leaving her to question every interaction, every memory, and every lingering emotion she holds for the two men who have defined her adult life. The trauma of this revelation has pushed Lily to her absolute limits, forcing her to construct impenetrable emotional walls just to survive the daily onslaught of Abbott and Chancellor family drama. Despite her desperate need for distance and clarity, the magnetic pull between Lily and Kane recently culminated in a fleeting, desperate moment of physical intimacy. It was a surrender to familiar comfort in a world that had suddenly become terrifyingly unfamiliar. However, the aftermath of this passionate encounter did not bring the reconciliation Kane so desperately craved. Instead, it triggered an immediate and severe withdrawal from Lily. The harsh light of day brought the horrifying reality of their tangled bloodlines crashing back down upon her, prompting her to establish draconian emotional boundaries. She made it unequivocally clear to Kane that their physical surrender did not equate to a romantic reunion. The terms she laid out were absolute and uncompromising. If there was to be any hope for their future, it had to be built on a foundation of total, unvarnished honesty. Lily demanded transparency, insisting that the era of secrets, manipulations, and hidden agendas must end permanently if Kane wished to remain in her life in any capacity. Kane Ashby now finds himself trapped in a purgatorial emotional state, entirely dependent on the severe boundaries Lily has set. He is drowning in profound regret, agonizing worry, and a paralyzing shock regarding his newly discovered Abbott lineage. Terrified of losing Lily completely, he has silently accepted her emotional scraps, willing to endure whatever parameters she dictates just to remain in her orbit. However, this desperate submission has severely bruised his ego. Feeling rejected and marginalized by the woman he loves, and simultaneously overshadowed by the chaotic, destructive force of his new biological brother Billy, Kane's internal compass has begun to fracture. The intense pressure to prove his worth, combined with the stinging sting of Lily's emotional distance, has created a dangerous cocktail of resentment and ambition within him. This volatile emotional state has primed Kane to make a deeply reckless decision, one that threatens to destroy the fragile truce he has barely managed to establish with Lily. Lily, possessing an incredibly keen intuition honed by years of corporate and personal betrayals, has begun to notice subtle but alarming shifts in Kane's demeanor. Her demand for absolute honesty has made her hypervigilant, and she is acutely aware of every micro-expression and hesitation in Kane's reactions. The catalyst for her escalating suspicion centers around the ongoing, explosive corporate war involving Adam Newman, Sally Spectra, and Billy Abbott. Whenever the topic of the highly controversial Newman Media acquisition is breached, Kane exhibits a visceral, almost involuntary physical and emotional overreaction. He becomes defensive, evasive, and uncharacteristically tense. For a man who is supposed to be laying his soul bare to win back the love of his life, this glaring inconsistency is a massive red flag. Lily's instincts scream that Kane is harboring a monumental secret, one that is heavy enough to crush the fragile foundation they are attempting to rebuild. To understand the gravity of Kane's deception, one must look at the chaotic backdrop of the Newman Media transaction. Sally Spectra, terrified of Victor Newman's impending wrath and desperate to protect her company, Spectra Charles, entered into a highly secretive and shocking deal with Adam Newman. She surrendered Newman Media back to Adam, a move that publicly appeared as a strategic retreat. However, beneath the surface of this corporate maneuvering lies a massive, hidden financial payout. Adam secretly compensated Sally with a staggering sum of money, a detail she has desperately kept hidden from Billy Abbott. Billy, who originally gifted Newman Media to Sally, is currently spiraling into a manic, destructive rage, relentlessly hunting Adam for answers. He believes Adam coerced Sally, completely unaware of the lucrative financial arrangement that actually transpired. Sally is trapped in a horrifying dilemma, drowning in paralyzing anxiety over her high-risk pregnancy and the impending explosion when Billy inevitably discovers her deception. The devastating truth that Lily is slowly beginning to unearth is that Kane is intimately aware of every dark detail surrounding this shocking Newman Media deal. Through channels yet to be fully revealed, Kane discovered the exact nature of Sally and Adam's transaction, including the massive, secret financial payout that is currently tearing Billy and Sally's relationship apart. Initially, Kane might have justified his silence under the guise of maintaining peace or protecting Sally from Billy's volatile, destructive wrath. He could have convinced himself that keeping this explosive information under wraps was a noble act, designed to prevent further collateral damage within their interconnected social circles. However, as Lily continues to analyze his defensive posture, she realizes that Kane's motivations are far more sinister and self-serving than mere protection. The silence is not a shield for others, it is a weapon he has forged for himself. The true depths of Kane's betrayal are rooted in a shocking deal he has orchestrated in the shadows, leveraging his knowledge of the Adam and Sally secret for his own personal gain. Feeling emasculated by Lily's rejection and desperate to secure a position of power in the wake of the Chancellor inheritance revelations, Kane has weaponized the truth. He has used the hidden evidence of Sally's financial payout as a bargaining chip, striking a covert agreement that grants him unprecedented leverage or authority. Whether this deal involves blackmailing Adam to secure a corporate advantage, or manipulating the situation to undermine Billy's standing within the family and the business world, the undeniable fact remains. Kane has traded his integrity for power. He has taken a piece of highly volatile information that could destroy multiple lives and used it to line his own pockets and bolster his own ego, completely disregarding the catastrophic fallout it could cause. The psychological underpinnings of Kane's actions reveal a man deeply insecure about his place in the world. Having spent years fighting for legitimacy, the sudden revelation that he is Jill Abbott's biological son should have brought clarity. Instead, it thrust him into a direct, inescapable rivalry with Billy. By holding the key to Billy's ultimate humiliation, the knowledge that Sally took Adam's money and lied about it, Kane possesses a psychological dominance over his brother that he has never experienced before. This intoxicating sense of control has blinded him to the fatal flaw in his master plan, the absolute betrayal of Lily's core demand. In his desperate bid to secure power and outmaneuver his rivals, Kane has completely ignored the fact that the only thing Lily asked of him was unvarnished truth. His actions prove that when faced with the choice between honesty with the woman he loves and the acquisition of personal leverage, he will inevitably choose the latter. As the pieces of the puzzle slowly snap into place for Lily, the resulting epiphany is nothing short of devastating. The crushing weight of the realization that Kane is actively prioritizing a covert power grab over the fundamental honesty she demanded is entirely suffocating. Lily feels a profound, sickening sense of betrayal that cuts deeper than any of his past indiscretions. She had offered him a highly conditional, incredibly fragile path to redemption, and he had immediately veered off course the moment an opportunity for manipulation presented itself. Lily recognizes that Kane is placing the protection of this secret deal, the shielding of Adam and Sally, and his own insatiable thirst for leverage far above the sanctity of their relationship. The realization that he is willing to let her walk blindly into the crossfire of this corporate war, while he pulls the strings from the shadows, shatters whatever remaining illusions she held about his character. This profound betrayal forces Lily to confront a terrifying and heartbreaking possibility, the permanent end of their relationship. The boundaries she set were not merely suggestions, they were survival mechanisms. By violating them so egregiously, Kane has proven that the foundation of their love might be entirely, irredeemably rotten. Lily is now seriously contemplating a final, absolute severance of ties. After enduring the trauma of the Jill Abbott revelation, the shock of the biological brotherhood, and the emotional whiplash of their recent intimacy, this latest deception feels like the final nail in the coffin. Lily realizes that she cannot build a future with a man who fundamentally relies on secrets and manipulation as his primary tools of engagement. The prospect of walking away from Kane forever, of completely dismantling the legacy of their shared history, is agonizing, but it is rapidly becoming the only logical path forward for her own mental preservation. The collateral damage of Kane's deception extends far beyond the confines of his relationship with Lily, threatening to engulf the entire Winters family in a renewed cycle of toxic drama. Lily has fought relentlessly to protect her family's legacy from the chaotic warfare that perpetually surrounds the Abbotts and the Newmans. By secretly involving himself in the Adam and Sally debacle, Kane is actively dragging Lily and her family back into the exact toxicity she desperately wants to escape. His actions threaten to entangle Chancellor in a scandal that could have severe financial and reputational repercussions. The Winters family, already strained by internal conflicts and the recent shifts in corporate power, cannot afford to be collateral damage in Kane's selfish pursuit of leverage. Lily's anger is compounded by the realization that Kane's reckless behavior is actively jeopardizing the stability and the future of everything she has worked so hard to build and protect. Meanwhile, the noose is rapidly tightening around everyone involved, as Billy Abbott's relentless, manic pursuit of the truth reaches a fever pitch. Driven by a volatile cocktail of jealousy, perceived betrayal, and an insatiable need to destroy Adam Newman, Billy is conducting a highly aggressive investigation into the Newman media transaction. He is tearing through corporate records, interrogating witnesses, and utilizing every resource at his disposal to uncover the exact nature of Sally's surrender. The tragic irony of the situation is that while Billy is hunting Adam with unhinged ferocity, he is entirely unaware that his own newly discovered biological brother, Kane, holds the exact evidence he is searching for. Billy is circling the truth, his paranoia and rage escalating with every passing hour, completely oblivious to the fact that Kane is actively suppressing the very information that would validate his darkest suspicions and shatter his relationship with Sally forever. The tension in Genoa City has reached a critical, unsustainable mass, setting the stage for an explosive confrontation that will leave no one unscathed. Billy is dangerously close to uncovering the financial trail that links Adam to Sally, and consequently, the undeniable proof of Kane's complicity in the cover-up. The pressure mounting on Kane and Sally is immense, threatening to crack their resolve at any moment. Lily stands on the precipice of a life-altering decision, her heart hardened by Kane's ultimate betrayal, ready to sever ties permanently. As Billy inches closer to the undeniable proof of the secret payout, a dangerous turning point looms on the horizon. When the truth finally detonates, it will not only destroy the fragile remnants of Billy and Sally's romance, but it will expose Kane's shocking power play, forcing Lily to make a final, devastating choice. The inevitable collision course has been set, and the fallout promises to alter the landscape of Genoa City forever, leaving everyone bracing for a catastrophic impact that no one can prevent.